Hello everyone and welcome to Lipnox SQ, a show focused on the games, applications, and tech demos released on SideQuest. My name is Lipnox, and on today's show we've got some more hand tracking applications. We've got a brand new game that uses a brand new wheel accessory, and I've got to show you this awesome game. You don't use the analog sticks to move, you're actually moving your head. And it's a horror game, and it is so creepy. You have to check it out. Today on the show. Well, it looks like we have a last-minute addition. A game that just sort of popped in on my feed and I had to include it. Let's Go Chopping is a zombie game where you go shopping and you gotta fend off zombies. I'm gonna have a full review and information about a giveaway to give away some codes for you guys. Check it out later on the show.
So let's take a deeper look. Skoda Auto is one of the oldest car manufacturers in the Volkswagen family, with cars that first came into production all the way back in 1905. And this is a game intended for use with a 3D printed part that is actually permanently installed at the Skoda Museum, which is located in the northern part of the Czech Republic. You can actually download the blueprint and try for yourself. The link is located on the SideQuest page for the game. It acts as a wheel controller and works quite well, though it does not allow for easy access to the buttons, limiting the capabilities possible with this device. But that being said, I made my own option, so I cannot comment on that device. Beyond that, it looked really cool, and I had to figure out how I could make my own.
You can actually 3D print your own wheel. So what I'm going to show you is a workaround. So what I've done is I've wedged the thing in here. This is a Nintendo Wii wheel. And I'm just going to use the straps on my Kiwi design. And we're going to just attach these here and then close them up. Now this is going to give us the same idea.
Now, the game itself, well, you're just racing through an experience with a few bits of talking, giving you some history on the company. I do wish they had told me more about the company or the museum in the game itself, but given how many times I've replayed the roughly 4-minute long course, it didn't bother me. It's an easy game and a perfectly suited one to relax and enjoy. I think if Brains Immersive could take this concept and give me more, people would be very excited, so please do this. The visuals look great, there are a few extra paths to encourage multiple plays, and it all works great. You can even feel the rumble in the wheel on the Wii wheel, so I can imagine how good it feels with a proper 3D printed accessory. I highly recommend everyone to set aside a few minutes to play this, and possibly, if you have some sort of wheel accessory like the Wii wheel, to go that route and increase your immersion factor. I also urge any developers making racing games on SideQuest to possibly take a look at this 3D printed option. I think this would be a great fit for a few driving games I've already played on the SideQuest. Blanketworks is a game that was actually made by the people who make SideQuest. It's one of those games that I have continuously called Blanket Forts instead of Blanket Works, because you're building blanket forts. And, you know, there's a kid in me, there's a kid in all of us. You use your finger tracking, you can pick up things, and this is one of those experiences that actually seems to work decently well in my old light setup. You know, with my new light setup, it works even better. But this is one that seems to have the tracking down that extra little bit. So if you are having trouble with hand tracking applications, this could be a really good one to just try first and see how it works for you. There's a whole house apartment thing. It's really cool to check out and mess with. You can build the cushions, there's blankets, you can mess with the physics with the blankets. And the light switch apparently does work as well. So you can really get a lot out of this application. It's well made, and it's one of those applications that is just simple fun to just do whatever you want, have your little mini sandbox blanket fort experience, and I think is well worth checking out. Trippy Fingers. You blast confetti out of your hands. It looks great and is a ton of fun to wave your hands around. No detail in the environment, but the confetti has different colors and is pretty mesmerizing to look at. It's disappointing Ben couldn't get a custom music port for it, so if you can help him figure out how to use the features in Unity to access files on your Quest device, I know he'd be grateful. He has a HoloLens release of this application that he has linked to on the SideQuest page, and he's using tech that he's developed for previous apps and experiences on this. There's one called Crystal Vibes Matrix Visualizer VR that he's done. Overall, it's fun, especially if you want a hand tracking application that won't frustrate you. Consider it a visualizer, I guess. Ben is hard at work on new applications he hopes to release on Quest with a focus on spatial interaction an irritants, and of course a trippy vibe. So I really can't wait to see what else he comes out with. This is one that's fun to check out. Let's Go Chopping is a zombie killing sandbox experience coming to SideQuest and itch platforms in alpha for a reduced price of $3 for early adopters. I played a lot of games in VR, and if I were to quantify this, I would say it feels like what happens when you combine Drunken Firefight with Saints and Sinners. While there are only 2 areas to kill zombies in, there are a lot of weapons to play with. Katanas, knives, baseball bats, hammers, shotguns, M16, pistol. The practice area and the shopping center are only 2 levels you can battle zombies in, but the shopping center is quite large and it will keep you entertained for a decent amount of time. Now, the shopping aspect of the game is very fun and addictive way to grind your way through weapon unlocks. You collect the items the shopping list asks for, you put them in the cart, and then take it to the exit, and then you press the green button. There are baskets and things that help carry stuff, so you don't need to bring the cart everywhere. And you can also just walk around and throw items towards the direction you want, and then go and collect it all later. Each round is different difficulties, so there's a good chance by hard mode you're getting killed really quickly, so when you're unlocking things, it's better to just play the first 2 areas, or even just the first area, and then cash out, and then spend your upgrades until you get more things unlocked. There are also audio bugs, unfortunately, when you're hitting things in the cart. So when things are bouncing and hitting each other, it kind of makes this noise, and it's a little bit annoying, but after I played for a while, it really wasn't a big deal. Sometimes the weapons also aren't as effective, and it's a little confusing that with zombies with different color shirts are tougher than another one. So as you go on, and you hit the higher difficulty modes, you get zombies that you can't kill easily with some of the melee weapons, and you're wondering what's going on. It's because they're tougher types of zombies, and it doesn't seem to work with them as easily. Sometimes you have to really go after them for a while, hitting them. Some zombies are weak against certain melee attacks, and better to use pistols, better to use shotguns, better to use whatever. The physics work great, and you can throw weapons just like you can in Saints and Sinners and have them do damage. Hit weapons with other weapons, create a chain effect, grab zombies, toss them into the fridge, and close the door. There's lots of options. The sharp melee weapons can decapitate limbs and arms, and the blades can stab, even being able to hit the trigger to reverse the position you desire so you can stab any direction. The guns are a blast to use, and if you're having trouble using them, I'd recommend looking in the locker in the practice mode. Hint, hint. And I also recommend that you should unlock the laser pointer as one of your first unlocks. Overall, my feelings with this title are those of pure love, and I think there are a lot of areas this can be improved, but right now I would consider this an extremely fun time for people who enjoy playing games like Saints and Sinners or Drunken Firefight, and generally enjoy having a fun time in VR. There are tons of unlockables, so you will likely never run out of goals to reach, and I'm sure there will be tons of updates coming soon, as RJ has shown that he is very committed to the project. There's also a zombie kill of the week you can enter, and I'll leave the information right below on the screen here. It is definitely a project that I feel like will have a huge community and a lot of fun to engage in. Now is the time I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for. The developer gave me some free copies of the game to hand out for you guys. Just email lipnox@gmail.com, and first come, first serve, we'll get the codes. Keep an eye on the comments for the video, and I will let everyone know when all the codes are gone. Good luck. You know, hand tracking isn't always the greatest for actual games, and the more you move, the more it loses tracking. And this and that. Not everyone has a studio lights and a perfect setup, and given my situation, I feel like the lighting is extremely good, and there should be minimal tracking issue. Figure Out is one of those games that really works well using that tech though. I really had no major issues grabbing the pieces and moving them where they needed to go. And it was relaxing and fun to do. Now you're not going to spend days with this application, but I could easily see someone clearing all the included puzzles and want more. This does everything right for hand tracking, tons of options to tweak the play space, while still only requiring movement in areas the camera has the best view of your hands. You're not reaching for things off screen, and it's all directly in front of you. As you can probably tell on screen, this game is about using different combinations of square chips to fill areas. You get some chips that are in a C shape, some in a U shape, some of them in all sorts of different shapes. Basically, you fit them into the right spots, and that's good. The game was released for the Rift and cost $2 on that platform, but this Quest release was a quick port from that. And while the developer Danny had been waiting for certification, he sort of released this one to sort of drum up hype. Unfortunately, he hasn't gotten much love on that platform, so perhaps if you are enjoying what you see on screen, and you like the hand tracking application on the actual Quest store, throw him $2, maybe he might update the Quest version with some new stuff. But I really think that Figure Out VR is a pretty fun hand tracking application that you definitely need to check out. So, Weird Chill Out is this weird kind of hand tracking application that you can stretch your fingers out. Now, you kind of stretch the fingers out with this clip thing, and the clip thing, sometimes has a little bit of trouble clipping on, but once you get these weird spidery fingers, you can flick things. You can kind of flick your finger and knock things over and hit the ball and fling it across, and it's quite hilarious and quite fun. And I really think that if someone were to take that and make something more complicated out of it, you could get a really good game. Now, the other part of it is the jiggly hands thing, where your hands are sort of jiggle in front of you and you can pretend like your hands have no bones and press against the ball, and that's a cool feature too. But I do think as a hand tracking application, there's a lot of cool ideas here that are well worth taking a look at. So the next game that I absolutely had to check out was Wild Zone. It's an application that you basically bob your head to move. You do not use the analog stick whatsoever, and maybe bobbing your head is a little bit short-sighted. You really have to sort of bounce to get this thing moving correctly, and once it is working, it's insane. This is a game that you really need to check out. Some of the reviews on there showcase it as a fitness application potentially, and I couldn't agree more. The control scheme used in this has an infinite amount of purposes. You can run and jump even. This could be a Sonic game. This could be a million different types of games. And I think that forcing it to be a horror game is probably the absolute best use of this, because what's the hardest thing to do when you're scared? Well, for me at least, I freeze up and it's running. So when I have to creep into these dark areas with my very not bright flashlight, it's extremely creepy, knowing that I'm not going to be able to just quickly turn around and hold the analog stick one way to get away. This application is extremely terrifying. There are dark areas, you walk into the dark areas, and you hear things. And maybe it's my mind playing tricks on me, but there is definitely something there. There is a monster. There is someone. You might have to look for yourself to see if you have the guts to find him. I don't know if I do. And this game has some climbing application that really didn't work out too well. But overall, I think it's a fantastic application, and while the developer is quite intent on SideQuest to not have any negative feedback, the developer's name is Pray to Win Games, I honestly don't think that there is anything negative to say about this game at this stage of development. It's a fantastic application. You gotta get the climbing down better, but it is incredible how well this works. And with already, at the time of me recording this, 14 reviews on here and over 500 downloads, I was tempted to not even cover this at all. But, I couldn't help myself, and 3 days after release, it is very clear this is a hit. I can't wait to see what comes next, and I couldn't thank the developer more for releasing this great project. Ply Delivery service. First delivery. I really struggled with the application. It's not surprising I'm the only review for it. I pushed through mainly because no one else will. You start in a bathroom and you're asked to push the sign thing and then look at your watch. The watch then plays a message that continuously cuts out and is extremely annoying due to the poor hand tracking issues I was having for this game. Then I had to wash my hands, but there's no way to move your character, so you have to sort of trick the camera to get over there. And it's basically a mission in itself to get the hand tracking to work. Once you get there, you go in the sink and you try to move your hands together and it loses tracking. And I guess it's meant to teach you about washing your hands properly, but do we really have anyone who's using a VR headset that doesn't know how to wash their hands? But then you go and you flush the toilet, and you get skyrocketed into space, which is just insane. Like, that's the only reason I'm covering this game, because I thought that was really cool that I went into space. Then you have to grab the piece of toilet paper and walk it over and drop it in this tube, and there's an astronaut there, and he's gonna wipe his butt with it. It's extremely strange of a game, and I really don't know what to make of it. They really have just abandoned it. There's no updates or anything. But if you can get rid of all the issues of hand tracking and you have a big enough play space, it's kind of fun to check out, but with my experience, it's extremely difficult to recommend because the hand tracking just did not work well. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. This was Lipnox SQ with my 3rd episode, and I really love you guys for watching this. Thank you so much. This is truly a blessing to see the numbers I'm seeing the comments I'm seeing the messages on SideQuest. I love that you guys are enjoying the show, and I'm going to keep making them, so don't worry whatsoever on that. The production value is just, as you can see, getting better and better with each episode, and I really want to have a show that everyone can come and enjoy. This was Lipnox SQ. Like, comment, and subscribe. There's more coming. Tons more. Thank you.